Good evening, I'm Praham Badahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Businesses and the government bearing losses of billions in absence of laws to recoup credit. Committee yet to be formed to formulate the laws. Trade cycle has been disrupted. State-owned medicine manufacturing entity is suffering losses because of the government indifference, limited to manufacturing of cetamol and oral rehydration solution among basic drugs. Government and transport businesses reach an agreement to open advance bookings. Date yet to be decided. Passengers urge stakeholders to find permanent solutions. And it was a sad day for Nepal under 20 and under 17 teams. Under 20 lose against Cambodia 4-1 at AFC under 20 Asian qualifiers. Under 17 lose 1-0 to Pakistan. The trend of making purchases on credit and then making different excuses later on is increasing in the private and the government sector of Nepal. In absence of laws related to recouping the credits, many businesses suffer losses. Now, despite several efforts of the business sector, laws were set to be formulated through the budget of the ongoing fiscal year. However, a drafting committee remains to be formulated in this regard. The government had announced of creating a conducive environment for investment and ensuring required amendments in the laws related to credit transactions. The point number 93 of the budget is about formation of laws for credit transaction and intellectual property. Now, despite inclusion of the provision in the budget after several efforts from the business sector, a drafting committee is yet to be formulated. Now, laws related to credit transactions exist in other countries of the world. After the rise in problems related to credit transactions following the coronavirus pandemic, India introduced a law which requires payment within 15 days or in case of failure to do so, payment within 45 days with interest. Now, as such a law is yet to be formed in Nepal, the businesses have been at the receiving end. Now, because of the low demand of daily consumable goods, businesses have been providing a credit period of up to 7 months. Now, problems have been increasing as many abscond without making payments. The cycle of the business sector has suffered massively as they have failed to recoup the credit payments. Despite the only government industry to manufacture medicines in Nepal, the Nepal Aushadhi Limited, remaining in a poor condition, the government has yet to pay any interest. The entity, which once used to produce 146 kinds of medicines, produces only 8 kinds of medicines at the moment. Now, with the objective of producing at least 20 kinds of medicines, the government had announced of providing 250 million rupees to the entity last year. However, neither the government has released the amount, nor any effort has been made to uplift the standard of the entity. The status of the entity, which produces 7 kinds of medicines including cetamol, Jivanjal and oral rehydration solution and hemodialysis fluid, is constantly degrading. The Nepal Aushadhi Limited, which was established 52 years ago, has become a victim of government indifference. A meeting led by the Chief Secretary on the 13th of April 2023 had recommended the government to provide 250 million rupees to the entity to enhance its capacity for production of 20 kinds of medicines. However, neither did the government release the fund nor the entity could produce additional medicines. While the organization had requested for permit to produce 3 more kinds of medicines 4 months ago, the permit was not issued. Medicines worth around 70 billion rupees are traded in Nepal each year. However, the government does not have any data on the exact amount of procurement of the medicines. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, medicines worth 6 to 7 billions of rupees are produced each year. These drugs are produced from native and foreign pharmaceutical companies. Even in such a situation, the government entity responsible for manufacturing medicines has remained helpless, while the ministry does not have any clear idea on the efficient operation of the entity. It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And before we ask today's question, let us take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we asked, what is your take on parties taking in teachers while parliamentarians voice against teachers' involvement in politics? 65% were for A, double standard, 15% were for B, apathy to laws, and 20% were for C, political gain. And here is our today's question. What should be done to make the country independent in manufacturing of medicines? Your options are A. Increase government investment, B. Promote the private sector, and C. Invite foreign investment. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, do stay with us. The government and transport businesses have reached an agreement to open advance booking for the approaching festivities Dasai, Tihar and Chhath at the earliest. The consensus was reached at the meeting held at the Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport today. The discussion led by Minister for Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Devendra Dahal, with the Department of Transport Management, has decided to open the advance booking at the earliest. The meeting also decided to direct the Department of Roads to repair the roads before the Ghatastapana festival. Now, it is also decided to urge the Ministry of Home Affairs and Nepal Police to monitor the operation of previously set criteria of vehicles along the BP highway for road safety. The Department of Road and Transport Management has been directed to conduct the required monitoring and report to the ministry. Now, decisions have also been made to hold talks with the Department of Transport Management to open advance bookings at the earliest, ensure safe and easy travel by arranging required check of vehicles and transport from the bus park to the required destinations. Now, talks have also been held to direct the Department of Transport Management to revise the fares after the Chhath festival, following required preparations on the assessment of the fares. The meeting has also directed the department to prepare and furnish a work plan within 1 month for the implementation of the verdicts issued by the court. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked today, what should be done to ease transfer during festivities? Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
टिकट दिने व्यवस्था हुनु पर्यो। अब मन परि लिने 1500 लिने टिकट नदिने कति पैसा लियो भने प्रमाण पनि नहुने यो खालको एउटा ठूलो गम्भीर समस्या छ।
सबै स्थानीय निकायहरूले आफ्नो क्षेत्रमा पर्ने बाटोघाटोलाई चाहिँ मर्मत गरेर सहज बनाइदिनु पर्यो।
सिट संख्या भन्दा अत्यन्त धेरै मान्छेहरू कोचेर गन्तव्यतिर लागिरहेका गाडीहरू हुन्छन्, त्यस्ता गाडीहरूको नियन्त्रण गर्नु पर्यो।
डेमा मात्रै यात्रा भइदिएदेखि हुन्थ्यो, नाइटमा नभएर।
सरकारले बाटोको क्षमता अनुसार र तपाईको पब्लिकको अनुसार गाडी सञ्चालन गर्न सक्नु पर्यो नि त। गाडीमा मान्छेहरू अलि कमै हाल्नु पर्यो, धेरै भिडभाड गर्न भएन।
बाटो तपाई चाहिँ अलि अव्यवस्थित भएकालाई व्यवस्थित गर्न पर्यो।
A customs office at the Kerala border point with China in Lomanthang of Upper Mustang, located at pillar number 24 along the Nepal-China border, is to be operated before Dasai. Now, according to Mustang Chief District Officer Janakras Panta, required works have been expedited to operate the customs office before Dasai at the Kerala point. Arrangement for electricity has been made at the building, which will have a customs office and the security post along with high-speed internet provided by Nepal Telecom. The Kerala point is located at an altitude of 4,650 meters above the sea level, while the local residents of Mustang will be allowed to cross the border by receiving a pass from the district administration office. The facility is expected to ease for cross-border trade with China. Time now for the international news. Now, polls have closed in Sri Lanka's election, where voters are choosing a new president for the first time since mass protests unseated the country's leader back in the year 2022. Now, today's vote is widely regarded as a referendum on economic reforms meant to put the country on the road to recovery after its worst ever financial crisis. But many people are still struggling to make ends meet because of tax hikes and cuts to subsidies and welfare. Multiple analysts predict that economic concerns will be front of mind for voters in what is shaping up to be a close race. Now, counting began with postal votes at 5 p.m. local time, but results are not expected to become clear until tomorrow morning. We have more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break. Welcome back. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal have suffered a 4-1 defeat against Cambodia at their first match of the AFC Under-20 Asian Cup qualifiers. Now, Team Nepal were 2-1 down in the first half and conceded 2 more goals in the second half. The Ace Group side were 2 goals down within 6 minutes of the match. Cambodia found themselves ahead in the 3rd minute and doubled their lead in the 6th minute of the match, both coming from corners. The Samir Thamang reduced the deficit for Nepal in the fag end of the first half. However, Cambodia scored twice again in the second half to seal the 4-1 win. And Nepal are placed in Group B alongside Cambodia, Uzbekistan, Bahrain and host Chinese Taipei. In the second match, Nepal played Chinese Taipei on Monday. Meanwhile, Nepal under-17 team have lost 1-0 to Pakistan at the SAF Under-17 Championship. That is all for the moment. Up next is the news in Nepali. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.